morning. Good morning. A little weird start to the day. We got our coffee. We got a little bit of cannabis. The SPY's looking up this morning. The QQQ looking to open up this morning. Basically repeat Friday, where it went to the peak on Friday. Interesting because oil is up. Gold hovering around 4,000. Bitcoin 64.8. Up a little bit. ETH up a little bit. Trying to break that 1900. Trying to break 65,000. DeFi doing all right. Aave's holding. We hold some Aave out there. What else are we holding? We have some lit in the trading bot. We have Uniswap in it at 350. Market seems all right for a Monday. Oil surging. Oil prices erase gains after Iran says U.S. talks could be pursued based on national interests. Wait, what? Americans are wary of government equity stake as Trump admin pushes new investments. Interesting. Oil prices erase gains after Iran says U.S. talks could be pursued based on national interests. Dude, I think you fucking pound them even harder, right? 2 weeks, 8, 7 total articles. Ooh, I like that. I'm not against that. Let me chat with the team. Oil prices were mixed on Monday, pairing gains after Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Esmail Baghai said negotiations with the U.S. could be pursued based on national interest. What does that even fucking mean? Bomb it out, dude. Keep it going. Speaking to reporters at a news conference, said intermediaries had continued to exchange messages with Iran amid the latest round of U.S. strikes and American military casualties. International benchmark for Brent crude was at 88.47 per barrel, having surpassed $90 last night. $82 also erasing gains. Very interesting. Gravy, good morning. I need more blankets and less blankets. We're going to war. We're not going to war. The latest moves comes after the U.S. military confirmed a third American service member had been killed in recent operations. American forces completed a ninth consecutive night of strikes against Iranian targets. The strikes will continue degrading Iranian military capabilities used to attack commercial vessels. I want to know, like, why can't this all be done at once? Why haven't we, like, wiped out all their military shit? Is it because it keeps popping up? They have new equipment that keeps popping up, like, along the coast. It's not like a built installation of buildings, is that? I wish they would explain that, you know what I mean? Like, by now, we probably should have knocked out all the radar and everything they got, right? Right? U.S. CENTCOM has targeted Iranian coastal surveillance and air defense systems, maritime assets, as well as missile and drone storage facilities. American forces have also struck Revolutionary Guard units linked to the July 17th attack on U.S. personnel in Jordan. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has claimed that it maintains full control of the strait. Not a single drop of oil, gas, or chemical fertilizer will pass through our waterway. Okay, gas prices are back to $4. Don't we just like, isn't it? Is this a sign that we don't know how to liquidate Iran? Like, how do we just, you know what I mean? Bye bye. Bye bye. Voters weary of government's ownership in companies, this Trump administration takes equity stake. This is a little crazy, but I feel like it has to happen for America's best interest. Like, they have to choose a winner, whether or not they take equity or not. They still need to buy products or do something to boost it. Like, for example, with the rare earth minerals or nuclear energy minerals, China refines so much of that stuff they can push the price down to where it's not profitable for American refiners. And we need a customer of last resort. We need the government to say, we're going to put a backstop to the price here. Even if China's selling it cheaper, we're going to buy it from you so that your company can be profitable. And if we're going to do that, the government might as well get a stake. I don't. Hey, if you link it to the Trump accounts, then I don't have a problem with it, right? If it's the people that own it. U.S. government to take ownership of U.S. based companies. All American Economic Survey found the finding comes as the Trump administration has negotiated 30 deals worth nearly 27 billion in total, according to the Council on Foreign Relations, a nonpartisan think tank. More may be coming. The administration has had talks with influential AI startups, OpenAI, about potential government stake when it goes public. What? What does that mean? Like, can we put this in Trump accounts? All American poll was conducted July 8th through 12th with a nationwide group of 1,000 registered voters. Has a margin of error plus or minus, it has a way larger. Some U.S. ownership stakes have been opportunistic, while others have been a part of a broader economy strategy. Government, August, when the U.S. government took 10% ownership of chipmaker Intel. The U.S. government had agreed to provide $8.9 billion in grants to Intel under legislation passed under the Biden administration. The Trump administration decided it wanted equity in exchange, saying it would allow the taxpayer to share in any potential upside. I mean, I kind of agree. What do you mean? Oh, thanks for muting during the coughing. Heck yeah, Stefan. I try to mute when I can. I'm sorry. We've got a commenter out in the Twitterverse. Love that. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick discussed the Intel stake with Senate Republican at the policy lunch last week. We have to be careful about that. I understand he sees value in there for the taxpayer and all that. I'd want to be cautious in this area. How do we give it to Trump account holders? You know what I mean? Or how do we use it to make Social Security whole again or something like that? I was concerned about the trend, the U.S. government taking equity stake. I understand sometimes it makes sense from a national security standpoint and from a taxpayer standpoint. And he added it shouldn't be permanent. I do agree with that. Although here's the problem though. What happens when the government decides to liquidate their investment? How many other people sell too? Like it's almost like a one-way street, I feel like. If the government takes a stake in you, you're kind of stuck with them owning a piece. Like, is it ever a good thing that they sell out? Scary. Other government stakes have come through a coordinated effort by the federal government to make sure the U.S. has secure access to resources. This is what I talked about. MP materials, the rare earths. This is exactly the example I gave above. Critics of U.S. involvement in private companies argue that while the government's favor may temporarily make companies more appealing to shareholders, in the long run, companies heavily managed by the government are less competitive. The U.S. steel industry is often cited as a critical example. It's been heavily protected through tariffs and other government measures over the years. In 2025, U.S. Steel was taken private by a Japanese firm. U.S. Steel taken private by a Japanese firm. U.S. government was given the so-called golden share that allows it to veto certain business decisions. The U.S. campaign to use its financial heft to support companies involved in national security has attracted attention from private investors, some of whom have ties to the president. ProPublica reported in May that the White House urged the Pentagon to support defense startup Vulcan Elements, a company that had received an investment from a firm linked to Donald Trump Jr., the president's eldest son. The Pentagon issued privately held Vulcan a $620 million loan. What? This is crazy. A White House official described the ProPublica report on White House's involvement in Vulcan as fake news on steroids. I mean, they're definitely doing that. They're definitely enriching themselves from the position in the White House. Every politician does it. It's whether or not are they doing it also in the greater good of the country, right? Every one of them's going to do it. Every one of them's going to do it. I did watch one game of the World Cup, not one of them. I didn't even watch the final game yesterday. I couldn't get it on any streaming service I had. Well, I could. I didn't figure it out until the end, though, until it was already over. The biggest, brashest World Cup on record drew to a close Sunday as Spain defeated Argentina 1-0 in extra time to claim international football's biggest prize. Justin Bieber, BTS, Shakira, all performed. Breakout more than 27 minutes. Behind the scenes, FIFA was already certain to emerge as a financial victory. World Soccer's governing body president over the most lucrative sporting event in history, and is poised to net over $9 billion in revenue. Holy fuck! The most lucrative sporting event in history. That's crazy. That is crazy work right there. It's the first time 48 teams have competed on the world stage, up from 32 teams 4 years ago. How is that? It means 104 matches instead of 64, scheduled across a period of 6 weeks rather than four. Additional games allowed more content sold to broadcaster, more tickets issued to fans, more commercials for advertisers, a bigger global audience. CNBC explores how FIFA is monetizing the World Cup like never before. Damn, they're hitting licks. 48 team format to test out the 48 team format, but its administration was not without controversy. Cost of tickets $60 to over 10,000. Median price of admission was $900. Leading up to the tournament, there were question marks over affordability, whether fan demand would hold up. Demand was resilient. Utilization rate of stadiums was basically sold out at 99%. Damn, that's pretty wild. Encouraged by strong ticket sales, already begun floating the idea of further expansion to 64 teams in 2030. These are all real issues and we're examining after the World Cup. It enforced a 64 team World Cup would almost see 1/3 of the eligible countries attending the tournament and would boost the inclusivity of the sport. This is an opportunity for the World Cup to become the Olympics of football in the sense that it's become open to far more nations. While the medals might be concentrated in the hands of a few, you've got other people who can now say they have participated. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. The political ties. Trump went in there to make sure our best player played another game. We still lost. Gave Trump 10 tickets valued at $15,000 to last July's FIFA. Of course. Of course. Trump called Infantino to ask him to review a one-game suspension issued to USMNT player who received a red card in the match. I asked for review because I didn't think it was a foul. I didn't know what the hell red card was. Oh God. Plans to spend 2.7 billion in development. Where's the next one? Isn't it every 4 years? 2030 tournament promises to be even larger, with FIFA setting aside 6 billion. It will feature celebrations to mark the 100th anniversary of the tournament, which the Federation describes as an even more attractive event for broadcasters. Oh my God, they're selling the next one already. They're already selling it to you. Soccer's gonna be huge. All right, so my son is 2.5 now, so he'll be 6.5 during the next one. Soccer's gonna be big. I believe it. Boeing CEO, we still need a couple more years to repair finances before a new jet. Sales of China's car market plunge. Interesting. What is going on? China's car market appears to be headed for its worst year since 2021 as consumer demand for passenger vehicles tumbles. Why? Passenger vehicle sales fell by 20% in the first half of the year. What the fuck? Full year projection to a decline of 14% from an earlier forecast flat on year. Why? Critics expects a bleaker outlook. He projects cumulative auto sales will fall 20%. Why? This is going to continue to be brutal. Rising fuel costs and a pullback in electric vehicle subsidies have contributed to the struggle of Chinese automakers. Electric vehicle subsidies, did China cut back on those too? I know we cut back in America, but are we even buying Chinese electric vehicles here in America? Transportation energy costs soared 15% year over year in June, driving the collapse in demand for ICE vehicles. Retail sales. How could fucking ICE vehicles be down and EV vehicles be down? Chinese automakers are being squeezed by raw materials and component costs on the other end. Razor thin margins to lead to a market shakedown, consolidating China's fragmented EV market into 7 or 8 major players. Wow, he predicts the American automakers won't survive the fiercely competitive Chinese car market, leaving domestic makers BYD, Geely, German Volkswagen, Japanese Toyota. So are they saying that like Tesla's gonna get pushed out and shit? Look at the BYD car ship. Export surge expected to fuel next year's recovery as vehicle fleets age and owners look to replace vehicles. So they're just like looking for turnover, basically. It could get a boost from strong exports. Total passenger exports grew 11% month on month. Wow. 82% year on year. Holy fucking shit. That's pretty wild. Pretty calm news Monday, to be honest. Oil's bouncing around. We don't know if we're going to attack Iran or not. You go over here and look at the SPY and the QQQ. It's going to open higher on the day. Do we fall back? We have a lot of money to put in our individual account. We're going to add 20 racks over here. We sold our lighter over the weekend. We're slowly growing this thing. This account just grinds away. I fucking love it. It just keeps grinding. And the dividends keep coming in. What's in the old crypto news? Brazil's securities regulator sets up a task force with 60-day deadline for tokenization platform. Interesting. Bank of Korea prepares for live CBDC transaction with 9 banks in September. Isn't isn't Frax a part of this or something? Bank of Korea Central Bank CBDC plans are moving forward with 9 participating banks. Scheduled for September, real transaction testing. The Bank of Korea will provide the infrastructure for institutional CBDC, and each bank will conduct its own business using deposit tokens. The goal is to create an environment where the won can be traded freely regardless of time or space. Wow. Wow. CBDCs. Bahamas unveiled one in October 2020, Nigeria 2021, Jamaica 2022. Nobody uses them though. Nobody wants the CBDC that you can just print. Inactive, and 9 others canceled them. The U.S. Senate passed a bill that included a 4-year ban on CBDCs. Yeah, I don't think they're the way. CBDCs are not the way, not gonna lie. Crypto market slips even as equities advance. Pump surges on social media chatter. Centralized prediction markets and upgrade to HIP4. Funny, like I see this headline: cross-chain protocol all bridge halts after 1.6 million flash loan exploit. I'm like, oh, 1.6 million, that's fucking nothing. Did Michael Saylor buy more Bitcoin or what? What's the deal, Saylor? Dang. Should my bot be selling? Or bot at? Oh, it sold the Qs on Friday. Oh, that's hilarious. We did sell the Qs on Friday. I forgot about that. Didn't have to wait the weekend. Love to see it. We only have crypto open. We've got Lighter, ETH, BTC. We need Ave to fucking pull out of its spiral here. We need Lighter to come up a little bit, but average 236. Yikes. Lighter's coming off some heavy volume. I think they need some news to really push forward. Something's got to happen there. It's cool to see the bot trade, though. Interesting to see the Qs at 701 pre-market. What is Moonshot AI? There's really nothing in the news today. That's why. Like, even the attack on Iran and the war starting back up, it's not like heavily affecting things, if that makes sense. I don't even know what Moonshot is. Moonshot AI is preparing to go public within 6 months, moving to tap capital markets after its Kimi K3 model upended assumptions about how far behind China's AI sector really is. The company has distributed a shareholder resolution seeking its backers' approval for Hong Kong listing. Company also wrapping funding round that may value the 3-year-old startup at more than $30 billion, up from $20 billion it commanded in May. It's up 50% already. Moonshot's annual recurring revenue, a gauge of forward sales, reached 300 million in June, up from 200 million in April. Well, fuck, it's doubled. Resta, what's good? GM, what's good, man? K3 forms the bedrock of why the listing looks different than it would have a month ago. The open-weighted model outscored every rival except Fable 5 and OpenAI's GPT 5.6 on certain parameters, and topped a widely watched coding benchmark outright, triggering a semiconductor sell-off on Friday that dragged crypto down with it. Wait, what? And topped a widely watched coding benchmark outright. Moonshot is not moving alone, however. China's Alibaba said its Qwen 3.8 model is going open weight, a 2.4 trillion parameter system. The company claims trails only Fable 5 among frontier models. 2.4 trillion parameters? Do you even understand that? Like 2.4 trillion parameters. How the fuck? Good morning, Chad, too. I didn't see that. Morning, Chad and Ian. Think of it. Think of my trading bot has all these different parameters you could adjust. What if there were 2.4 trillion of these? How would I ever go through and make my trading bot work? It's not even possible, dude. I want more parameters. Add more parameters. That's what I should tell the bot. Add even more parameters. Open weights let anyone run a model without paying its maker, which pressures the pricing power of American providers that charge by the token. A parameter is one of the internal dials a model adjusts during training to get better at predicting text. Modern models have billions or trillions of them, and the count is the rough, imperfect shorthand the industry uses for raw size. Bitcoin is traded as proxy for the AI capital cycle all month, and its miners have rebuilt themselves into AI data center landlords whose leases depend on demand for computing holding up. The next read comes this week when Alphabet, Tesla, and Intel report earnings. Oh shit. When is that? When does Alphabet, Tesla, and Intel report earnings? When does Alphabet, Tesla, and Intel report earnings this week? Tell me, Google. Wednesday. All right, so we're going to chop around basically until Wednesday after market close. So Thursday, the market is going to chop till Thursday, is my prediction. Very well. Very well. A Bitcoin Volmageddon. Oh, God. Traders may want to keep a close eye on the potential for Bitcoin Volmageddon, in other words, a volatility surge that's often accompanied by price declines. This cautionary outlook is based on the behavior of 30-day implied volatility. Similar to the VIX, they look at this BVIV. The gauge is influenced by demand for options, the derivative contracts. Higher the demand for these contracts, the higher implied volatility and vice versa. For now, the index is hovering between 34 and 38%, a range that in recent years has been followed by volatility boom and price slides. Late May, what followed was a drop from 74 to 60 in less than a week and an upswing in BVIV. Similar patterns played out just before early February. Could it be volatility in any direction? Or does it have to be a downward move? My question really could be what is the catalyst here that could possibly happen? And I think the catalyst would be clarity passing or not passing. Clarity passing, we go up. Clarity not passing, we obviously go down, right? Yeah, like what? How has that not been finished? Oh, Sailor Strategy raises cash reserves to 3.2 billion, leaving Bitcoin holdings unchanged. Strategies Master, the world's largest corporate Bitcoin holder, raised its cash reserve by 225 million last week after selling common stock, bolstering liquidity while leaving its Bitcoin holdings unchanged. Doesn't that mean it just diluted everybody? Right? Isn't that what that means? Doesn't that mean everybody that holded common stock just got diluted in their fucking amount of Bitcoin per share? Company sold 2.7 Master shares for roughly blah blah blah. Master was 1.2% higher. What the fuck? Latest update comes to Strategy is focused on rebuilding its cash buffer after increasing complex financing model and dividend paying preferred stock structure came under pressure. How does this work? Earlier this month, the company disclosed a sale of 216 million worth of Bitcoin, a rare reduction in its Bitcoin holdings that marked its first significant sale. Strategy is the world's largest. I just don't understand. My brain is too smooth. I am just too dumb to understand it. You know what I'm saying? Gravy, do you understand what I'm saying out there? Live markets, reports of Iran proposal send oil lower, crypto and stocks higher. Uh, mm, mm, are we really higher? We're really just where we were at Friday. Maybe slightly higher on the Qs now that we're at 702. We're cranking away. Love to see it. The main account holds the Qs, my friend. The SPY and the QQQ. Actually, let's scroll back up here. What? Your famous quote. What does that mean? Are words I live by. What does this even mean, Gravy? What does this mean, dude? My average cost, $730. Love to see that. We are up on the SPY. I watched this video that said it takes 7 years of investing for you to really feel like you actually are up. You know what I mean? Like if you just quietly put your money away in the SPY or the QQQ, it would take 7 years for you to really feel the compounding effect and for you to really feel like you got somewhere, and that the first 7 years are the hardest, if that makes sense. And so here we are on year one. We have 6 more years to go. It is exactly a year right now from when I started this account. Like if I click this, does it have any money in here? Yeah. Like I started this account like end of July last year. We got to climb out of this hole, baby. We're in the hole a couple Gibos, dog, from all our sales and shit. Look at it level out and start to climb, though. It's rocky, but it's climbing because of what we've been doing. I love to see it. And we still have the Agentic account. I deposited in all my accounts. My Agentic, I deposited to my son's account. I deposited to my retirement account. But our Agentic account has 600 bucks over here, yo. The agent's out here trading, dude. We're letting the agent trade. It's making money out here, you know? I'm about to add a lot of money to this individual account. About 45 minutes for market open. I actually have a meeting. I have a big 10 a.m. meeting with my accountant that I need to get to. It's at 10 a.m., so we have plenty of time. I'm just remembering that I have it. You know what I'm saying? Pretty happy with the account. Pretty happy with where the account is right now. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything. If there are even people out there. How many viewers? Say we have 5 viewers. Okay, that's what's up. Resta says, sup, gravy? Grayscale plans regular cash payouts from ETH and Sol staking rewards. See, this is where this stuff gets interesting. This is where I like BMNR and stuff. I get really interested in the ones that have staking and staking distributions that could actually pay something like a dividend. Asset manager Grayscale plans to establish regular cash distributions from rewards generated by its ETH Sol exchange traded products, giving holders recurring access to yield generated by underlying assets. Framework could make staking returns more accessible to traditional investors, delivering cash rewards through broker held products, eliminating the need for shareholders to hold crypto, pick validators, manage staking operations. However, Grayscale said distribution amounts cannot be predicted, as they will depend on the staking rewards during each period and expenses deducted by the trust. Damn. Made its first ETH staking distribution on January 5th, paying shareholders about 8 cents per share from the sale of rewards. Gross staking rewards 2.67%. Dude, that's not bad. While Solana's were 6.1%. That's total mass inflation on both ends. It's inflation. ETH is inflating right now with how cheap transactions are, but that's mass inflation for Solana. Grayscale said the changes are designed to keep the fund compliant with the IRS. Company said the amendment should not significantly harm shareholders, but it's giving them 20-day notice. Now, isn't this each trust could deduct expenses not assumed by Grayscale before making a distribution? Staking rewards paid to the sponsor in exchange for arranging and facilitating the staking activities. Um, how does this work with like taxes? And then isn't this like a shit ton of sell pressure? Doesn't this become like just consistent sell pressure, guaranteed selling pressure from the ETFs? So interesting to see how that will play out. Bitcoin ETF inflows extend second week, but recovery lacks momentum. British Virgin Islands. Will the US get the clarity this week? Please. I feel like we're so fucked, dude. We are so fucked with this fucking bullshit about China, with Iran, with everything else going on, with the AI shit going on. I feel like clarity is pushed to the back burner. It's not making a big enough splash in the news for it to get the attention it needs to pass. I'm pretty scared, and that's where I think we're that like volumetric, and it shows like Bitcoin could have a lot of volatility. It all rests on this. Polymarket suggests the odds of the Clarity Act passing this year are just 40%. We're fucked. Democratic senators, including Chris Murphy, Jeff Merkley, and Chris Van Hollen, spoke out against the bill. A crucial Senate vote could happen as early as this week when Senate Majority Leader John Thune stating it will be definitely held before August 10th. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren is trying to spoil the vote by highlighting how much President Donald Trump is extracted from the industry. It's true, though. God damn it. She demanded that Trump voluntarily release his crypto earnings for this year after a 2025 disclosure showed he earned more than $1 billion from crypto last year. Dude, that is so fucked. The controversy means that Senate Democrats are unlikely to support the bill without a provision banning elected officials promoting or issuing cryptocurrency. The CEO of the Blockchain Association and a former commissioner at the U.S. Commodities and Futures Exchange Commission said ethics is the biggest elephant in the room. For my members and what we're advocating for on the Hill, look for whatever you decide on ethics. That's really not our concern. This is politics. That's Congress. That's elected officials. But please don't let it kill all the hard work that we put into the rest of the bill. We're fucked. We are so fucked. And what's his name? Paul Grewal from Coinbase, the chief legal officer of Coinbase, kind of like quietly stepped back. Publicly, he stepped back. Not even quietly. Like that dude stepped back before this shit got passed. Probably because he didn't get it passed. It's not passed. Prediction markets see record Q2 volume. These are all different. Senate agrees SBF should serve his time, blah, 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 blah. We're fucked. Are we going to get clarity, chat? Yes or no? Do we get clarity before Rare Evo? Before August 10th? Do we get clarity? What does the chat say out there? Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. This is on Cointelegraph. This is interesting. Rest in peace to Max Van Rossum. Cardano activated the Van Rossum hard fork on Saturday, upgrading the Cardano mainnet to version 11, which is expected to lower smart contract execution contrasts and lay the groundwork for Ouroboros Laos. On-chain data shows the network moved from protocol version 10 to version 11, as well as Plutus improvements, Plutus cost model enhancements. This upgrade lays the foundation for the next upgrade, the Dijkstra era hard fork, which would introduce Ouroboros Laos to Cardano. First governance driven hard fork in Cardano's history. Shout out to Max. May he rest in peace. I knew Max, who the hard fork was named after. Had seen him on the road a bunch. He had been to Rare Evo. Um, he was a really good guy. Always really funny. Always laughing. Always smiling. Shout out to Max. What else is in the news? It's about to be 9 a.m. What are the Houthis doing? Iran's Houthi allies in Yemen declare maritime embargo of Saudi Arabia. Iran's Houthi allies in Yemen on Monday declare a maritime embargo of Saudi Arabia. What does that even mean? There's not even enough of a story there for me to do anything. Chat, what do you want from me? U.S. Treasury yields edge higher. Middle East tension. Are Treasury yields good for ESCOV? When Treasury yields go higher, do ESCOV yields go higher? Yes, when Treasury yields rise, ESCOV yields increase. Love that. Love that. Love that. Hey, the bot holds Escov. The bot wanted to hold Escov, and I said, do it. Go for it. Let it ride. NBC, poverty stricken from super El Nino to Europe's long heat wave, how to trade extreme weather. I think that's a little crazy. Oh, still muted. I wasn't the click button. I'm an idiot. I am such an idiot. It was the bar had been moved down. I am such an idiot. Chat. Sorry, Ian M. Sorry, Gravy. Sorry, Resta. Sorry to anybody else watching. I'm literally an idiot. I'm just a big bumbling idiot. And what I was saying is this girl is watching just barely anything. Four things on a price chart. Everything is so big on that screen. Do you need it to be that big? I hope she's not really an employee doing anything important. And then the pain here is in single stock leveraged ETFs. Who is trading those? Who is crazy enough to be doing that? Like what? Why are people doing this? Stop it. Since the launch of single stock leverage ETFs in May 27th, Korean retail investors have purchased 9.4 billion of them. Oh my god. As of now, that isn't working out so well. SK Hynix single stock leverage ETF, a product designed to deliver twice the daily move, and SK Hynix shares has fallen about 70%. Oh, 50% down 50% from its debut. Why would you do that? This is a learning. This is the learning curve. If it's leverage, if listen, leverage traded ETFs because of the mechanics of how they're built, they go down more when things are choppy because they have to buy on green days when everybody's piling money in. They have to buy high and sell low. They have to sell on red days. And they erode NAV like crazy. There's no reason. You never hold them. You only trade them. They're meant for like intraday trading only. And that's only if you really know what you're doing and you really need a little added beta to your trade. just for the fucking day. But other than that, pretty fucking stupid to hold, right? South Korean online trading forums were full of lament. I want to go back before I started investing in stocks. Give me my money back. You're determined to kill me. The losses underscored how South Korea's retail investing culture has amplified swings in the country's technology heavyweights, even as analysts argued the long term outlook for memory chip makers remains intact. Oh my god. Retail investors bear the brunt. The investors bearing the losses are overwhelmingly domestic retail investors. Leverage ETFs have also grown rapidly as the share of Korea focused funds, with assets in the 25 largest leverage Korea ETFs rising roughly 30%. Up from about 15% at the start of 2026, according to Oxford Economics data. The economics advisor firm downgraded South Korean equities to neutral at the end of June, warning that leverage positioning had grown significantly and that the security firms may become increasingly reluctant to extend credit to retail investors. They just don't know what they're fucking doing. They're simply novice traders chasing online hype. Many investors in their 40s and 50s who have grown increasingly comfortable with leverage and concentrated technology bets. Oh my god. Regulators are also starting to regulate it. Like, please, please stop this shit. You shouldn't be able to buy this stuff. I mean, I guess you should be able to buy whatever you want. You can buy fucking meme tokens, so it is what it is. But people are fucking stupid, dude. I love just watching this account slowly grind higher and the dividends roll in, and knowing that I have loose exposure to growth through the SPY and the QQQ. All the biggest companies are between those two, between the SPY, the QQQ, SCHY, which is international exposure I just started getting, and the DIA. This covers pretty much everything you fucking want all around the world. You don't need to be fucking you don't need to be fucking worried about it. And then you just get dividend paying stuff in between and get some cash flow moving. What? I'm about to be earning like 500 bucks a month, maybe like 450 if I tone it back a little bit, which I might. But I'm going to put all this money in. Probably going to put like 20 G's in, borrow 10 out. Keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? Keep it moving. I want monthly cash flow. Like, I guess I could even show what I was working on. I've been working on cash flow. Like, I really want to get my monthly cash flow up. I want to cash out of this account and start using it to cover my bills. Um, I definitely like any extra money is getting chucked in the Robinhood at any time. I'm gonna try and pretend like everything costs me double. So if something costs me $100, I need to put 200 in Robinhood and borrow the $100 against my margin. But damn, I did a lot of talking last night with Claude, and I didn't even. Um, I have like another 24 grand we're gonna put in the account. So I was thinking about targeting a 10% APY, and it was really gonna push up what I bought into the covered call ETFs and ARKC main MPLEX ET and O, which I still might do this. I'm not against this. Um, this isn't a bad one, and it gives me a really high yield. It would get me to 459 in dividends a month, and my blended portfolio to 7.9, almost 8% on the dividend portfolio, on the portfolio's dividends, like blended across the whole portfolio. So I think this is getting interesting here. Like $459 a month, this is paying a significant amount of my bills. That pays our internet, that pays my phone bill right there, and probably gives me a night out, like a nice dinner out for every month. You know what I'm saying? I'd nearly double my monthly dividend income if I did that. Pushing towards 5,500 a year, this would basically eliminate almost a whole month of what I need to live. So basically, now I need to make money for 11 months a year. If I just saved it all up in 1 month a year, cashed it out, I'd live 1 month free. I only need to work, I need to earn 11 months worth of pay every year now. Now, I was like, after that, Oh, but it wanted me to do some alternative shit, add a new position, two new positions, which I don't want to do. I said, how would I allocate if I only wanted 7.5% APY? Then it kind of allowed me to put more around where we want, which I might do this. I might do this. But this brings down my dividend to only 400 a month, 409. It's what I need to do. It's the right thing to do is to do this. Targeting a 7.5 blend, you get ARC-C, you get QQQI, you get SPY-I, you get main, you get JEPQ, you get everything. You get OET, you get SCHD. You're adding to this international one that we just started. We're adding to NEE. We're making these real positions like that we just started with like 400 bucks, you know? I think that might be the way. You blow past 400 a month in passive income, 5,000 a year, while improving diversification rather than sacrificing it. Yeah, like these are all growing. Then I ask, like, it didn't put anything in the SPY or the QQQ there. Is the only thing I noticed. Doing this for 7.5%, it didn't hit the SPY or the QQQ, so I asked it. And at that 7.5%, it's just hard to hit. So then I was like, it said, do you want to build QQQ and SPY meaningfully and build 5 diversifiers? And I was like, yeah. And it said then I would need to do like a 6% blended. And I feel like this is too low. This hurts. Only 381 a month. God, that's so rough. It's probably the right thing to do, but it's tough. It's too. That's too low. And it would bring my APY down on the portfolio. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And then I said if I put all my money in QQQI, which is the largest dividend thing I hold, it would boost wait to $538 a month. I mean, that's fucking meaningful. It would pull the blended and portfolio APY all the way up to 9.25. And that would be meaningful. But it tells me it's like, don't do that. At least blend it a little bit between all of these. And I was like, all right, give me the better breakdown of that. And we would get to 500 a month if I only put it in the covered call ETFs. Which I was thinking I might do that. And getting 500 a month sounds really good. But honestly, getting $50 less and really covering all the rest of the stuff I own, I'm not against that either. What else did I have? Drawing with a monthly. Oh, I told it I wanted to draw on the monthly income. I did like a nav check on everything. All of them seem to be up, at least. Like you're not eroding nav in these covered call ETFs, which I think is super important. I was worried about QQQI specifically because it definitely has the highest dividend, but reviewing QQQI, it still is growing. It seems like GPIQ is probably the best performing one and has a nice middle ground. So, very interesting to me. That's pretty much my review of my research of what I'm buying out there and why I built the portfolio strategy the way I did. We're definitely going to put that money in here over the next couple days and make those purchases. My goal is just to continue to pay my bills and let that 500 roll over in this account every month. Whether that's just getting me further away from a margin call and buying space and saving it up, you know, but I don't plan to actually take it out right away, but it's nice to know the cushion is there if I need it, if that makes sense. If that makes any sense. There are no signs of a massive bailout. Why should they bail you out? You're a fucking idiot. If that's what you did, you're an idiot. You shouldn't get bailed out from that shit. Oh my god. What is this news? AMD launches Helios, its first rack AI system to rival Nvidia, adding Microsoft as a newest buyer. What? After a decade long comeback, chip giant AMD is preparing to ship its first rack scale system for artificial intelligence called Helios. Growing list of customers that now includes Microsoft. It's the first rival to NVIDIA's widely popular Grace Blackwell and Vera Rubin systems. Is aiming to give the world's most valuable chipmakers its first real competition in years. Microsoft announced Monday will use Helios systems in its data centers, joining Meta, OpenAI, Oracle, and others in a race to grab as much compute as possible. Wow. AMD will begin shipping to customers, including Microsoft, later this year. Details about financial terms and the amount of compute capacity weren't disclosed. Scale and choice they need to build and run the next generation of AI applications. Microsoft Satya Nadella said. Helios system will power frontier model inference for Microsoft, its AI customers, and support Azure AI services. Microsoft will also add two new computing instances run on AMD's latest Venice Central Processing Unit, or CPUs, one for agentic AI and data pipelines, another for semiconductor design. Whoa, this shit's getting crazy out here. It's wild. I will say everybody is so cautious of a bubble. How does a bubble happen? And their revenues keep going up, and the multiples of these companies, it's crazy out here. Like these companies aren't valued at crazy high multiples um, at this time. Like their revenues are expanding like crazy. So it's interesting to watch the race up right now. And it's like, is it real? Like, is this like the fiber boom, where all the telecoms built fiber lines too early and it was a bust and shit like that? Is this like the internet boom in the early 2000s and shit? Who knows? Is it like the rails? Or are we getting there yet? We might not even be there yet, though. There might be a couple years before it really does become a frenzy. You know what I mean? As Bitcoin prices fell yet again in the second quarter, traders on prediction market platforms Kalshi think Coinbase's trading volume suffered once again. Expected to post third consecutive quarterly decline in trading volumes, and speculators are feeling confident the total trading volumes will slip below 200 billion for the first time since 2024. Traders give it a 41% chance that it's above 160 billion and a 25% chance it's above 170. Whoa. So they think it's going to fall right in between there. More certain volume will be above 150. Interesting. Here's Coinbase are down. Is Coinbase in the queues? Is Coinbase and Circle in the NASDAQ? YFC in the QQQ. Yes, both Coinbase and Circle are included in the QQQ. Cool. I'm dollar cost averaging into both of them. Love that. Fucking love that, dude. What is the point of buying anything else? What is the point? What's the point? Why would you buy anything else? Just exposure to the Qs and chill. AMD's launches Helios. Look at that rack, dude. Damn, look at the rack in the photo. That's funny. The girl's there too. That thing looks sick though. Damn. What are we looking at for futures here? 702 on the Qs. 746 on the SPY. Volatility is crazy out here. Bitcoin barely holding flat. ETH barely flat. I think we're about to get bad news about clarity. It doesn't feel good about clarity. Clarity doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel like it's coming. One more grip on this thing. That it's 9:10. We have a 10 a.m. meeting, so putting that out. No more no more weed smoke. Where are we going, Ian Am? Where are we going? Big viewers out there. Appreciate you guys. If you are over on the Twitch side, remember you can support the stream by connecting your Amazon Prime to Twitch and giving us your free Prime sub. Amazon will pay me. If you'd like to take some money from Amazon, you know how much money you give Amazon? You can take some from them too. All you got to do, hit that free Amazon Prime sub on the channel. You won't get any commercials if you're over here or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Six of you are out there. Appreciate you. We actually did get a payout last week from Twitch, and I really do appreciate everybody that does Prime sub. We got a $50 payout, and that did go in the account. If you've noticed, our account value has gone up like crazy. Doesn't really show that here, huh? But we put like a little over 6 G's in. What? Oh shit. Which one do you want? That's a lot. Choices. You gave me so many choices. Why? Why the choices, my friend? Get the market climbing up. Such a good sign. Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg told CNBC Monday that the plane maker will need a couple more years to repair its finances before launching a new commercial jet, signaling the company is focused more on stabilizing its existing business rather than rushing to develop a successor to the best-selling 737 MAX. Three hurdles before committing to new aircraft program. First of all, we have to be ready. In part, that's getting our financial house in order, and we're working on that. It's going to take a couple more years to get to where we want to be. Came out of retirement to steady the company after a series of manufacturing and quality issues. Oh, shit. Telling Boeing to focus on improving the reliability and production of its current lineup rather than introducing a new jet. The company is unlikely to launch a new narrow-body aircraft until late in the decade. A new plane to better compete with Airbus's A320 family of jets will likely be crucial for Boeing to secure future business. We're the leader in the. Wait. On Monday, Airbus CEO told CNBC that it's targeting next generation single aisle jet around 2030 with entry into service in the second half of the decade. Airbus is leading the market. We're the leader in the single aisle segment, and we want to retain that position. While adding that focus is also ramping up production of current aircraft. Both Boeing and Airbus have been plagued by supply crunches following the COVID-19 pandemic. Sentiment around Airbus has turned more sour as Boeing has made progress to get back on track under Ortenberg. Spending and added engineering and production staff to keep the next generation of Air Force One aircraft on schedule for delivery in 2028. Good for them, dude. We need to be making Air Force One. I like that. I like that. That is the move. Dang it, there's this fucking. Oh no, this little pin this message button stops me from copy pasting it, but that's alright. I can just do it over here, my friend. Oh wait, I don't need to because I follow my friend. That's what's up. We're down to 4 viewers. Market's about to open. Let's Seems like there's some good news out there. Seems like nobody cares about Iran. Iran's going to go back and forth with old buddy about what we do, you know. We got to head to the accountants today. See everybody later. You know what I'm saying? Slash trade. Everybody say what's up for struggle. _4. I appreciate everybody's. You don't want gamers? Yeah. I I kind of like going towards people that are closer, like kind viewership. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, Nam. We'll see you guys on the flip side. It's tough to get up this morning, but I appreciate